far too long, streaming platforms, record labels and other internet giants have exploited performers and creators without rewarding them fairly. We must put the value of music back where it belongs, in the hands of music makers. Well, it's been backed by some of the biggest names in the business, and I'm joined now by Tom Gray, member of the band Gomez and founder of the Broken Record campaign, and also behind that letter. So when I say big names, we are talking Paul McCartney, Annie Lennox, Stevie Nicks, yeah, huge names. And you think these guys, you know, they've got, you know, they're getting lots of money, but that's not the case. Just explain how streaming works and why it is that artists such as yourselves are calling for it to be distributed fairly, the profits, the money.
Well, to be fair, you know, I don't think Paul McCartney needs any more money. My favourite person who signed was Kate Bush. That was a huge thrill getting her to sign. The truth is, yes, streaming doesn't pay very well at all. And many millions of streams can add up to only a few £1,000s. And then whatever deal you have with your label means that only a small amount of that will end up in your pocket. But, you know, really what we did today was to use very big names to get the government's attention. The truth is that there's 50,000 musicians in the UK and the average earnings are somewhere below £20,000, I think. So it's a low-paid sector. And, you know, session musicians don't get paid anything from streaming. Songwriters are struggling very hard, only about a seventh of the income from streaming. And these are tiny, tiny amounts ends up in the pockets of songwriters. And then, of course, artists have, you know, many artists are in inequitable deals with labels and unfortunately may not earn any money at all until they've paid off their debt.
So what do you want the government to do?
Oh, it's some simple stuff, really. There's rights in radio, which if they were applied to streaming would immediately mean that session musicians would get paid something for the first time. Songwriters are in a rather different kind of counterintuitive situation because the song seems to be the king of streaming, but they don't seem to be getting the value of those rights properly remunerated. For instance, the songwriters get about 50% of the money in radio, but in streaming they're only getting about 15%. And of course, as you say, these are of tiny, tiny amounts of money that are coming out of your subscription fees. So what we want to do is basically look at the whole thing. We want to change a little bit of the law so that a right called equitable remuneration appears in streaming. And we want to basically have an industry regulator. You might be familiar with an artist called Rebecca Ferguson, who's been doing a lot of work asking for an industry adjudicator as well, because Tom, you know there's an awful lot of abuses in our industry because we're a highly unregulated, unregulated industry.
Good luck with everything, and thank you so much for talking to 5 News. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.